Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings, the living card game. And I'm Dave Walsh.
And I'm Grant Thompson, just along for the ride, and today we are covering the spirit version of the hero Eowyn from the core set. She is 9 threat, 4 willpower, 1 attack, 1 defense, and 3 hit points. With the action, you may discard 1 card from your hand to give Eowyn +1 willpower until the end of the phase. This effect may be triggered by each player once each round. She is so thematic in this version, is what the Horsemasters are. She is the Shield Maiden of Rohan, therefore she is there to look after our people, whether that means riding with them to Helm's Deep or looking out over the lands of Rohan. Even that flavor text is brilliant. Slender and tall she was in her white robe girt with silver, but strong she seemed and stern as steel, a daughter of kings, which is accurate to a fault with her. She's sterner than steel. She will not back down from her resolve, which is why I think our willpower is so high, because she's like, we're on this path, we're going to get it done. And that shows in the films and the books when she takes on the Witch King. She went there against the orders of her uncle, the king, against the advice of her brother. She ended up saving everybody's ass by blowing up the Witch King with a sword.
That's exactly right. The only thing I love the card art. I don't think that the card art matches who I envisioned Eowyn to be. The card art for this version of Eowyn makes her look more maidenly than I originally thought her to be, as opposed to, in my own head, more like bad to the bone, sort of. More like what the Tactics version of her looks like, you know? So I love the card art. It's drawn really well. I think it accurately represents that side of her, but I don't think that that's who she is. In my own view, that's not where I have always put her, like kind of maidenly. The way her head is tilted makes her look like innocent and girly, you know, and while she did embody some of that, I always imagined her to be kind of a beast when it came right down to it.
Yeah, but I think that's why they've done 2 different versions of her to show her off as what she was in the beginning to what she was at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. It's just that I love the quality. For me, it just didn't match up with who I thought she was. On the other hand, I think that her abilities, except for maybe the attack power, I think her questing is even more than I expected. Her defense is kind of right where I thought it would be, and her hit points, you know, pretty good. She pairs really nicely with that spirit sphere where you're trying to lower threat, where you're trying to quest and do adventure. I always imagine the spirit sphere as being kind of the adventuring sphere. I kind of can get really behind her stat line.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. And to date, she is still the highest questing hero in the game. That 9 threat for 4 willpower. Even if you look at the Tactics version, it's basically 4 willpower for 6 threat.
Right.
And it's like, oh my god, are you insane? I mean, our hit points are average for a hero with this sort of stat line. Our attack, you're not really going to use her for attacking. You're not going to be using her for defending. Because of that willpower, she's going to be there questing. And if you're worried about hit points like from direct damage effects like a goblin sniper or a necromancer's reach or what have you, high in some healing potential like the Law of Imladris or self-preservation, just to strip off that little bit of chip damage so that you don't go losing a hero.
Right. You know, to trigger her effect, because she is so overwhelmingly a willpower hero, you know, you're always going to quest with her. So if you put in, like, if you couple her with, like, Círdan, somebody who you can select cards and then selectively discard cards to boost her willpower, you know, that's almost a natural pairing. Maybe not natural in terms of theme, but at least natural in terms of effect. And however much I hate to say it, you know, any card draw hero that you want to put in there, like
Paravor?
Oh, Paravor. Good. I was going to say the other B word. But, like Paravor, Bilbo, like those heroes that are card draw, I think really play nicely with Eowyn. I just think that when you couple her with some of those other card draw heroes, now you have kind of a ready-made force to reckon with especially when you're playing a scenario that requires you to quest all the time.
I mean, even if you look at one of the newer quests with the siege keyword, if you're running a tactics deck with Spirit Eowyn, high golden shield on her, and you've got a siege character with a 5 base
questing ability, right?
Yeah, questing ability, and then you discard to that, which also increases golden shield.
Right. Yeah, so while the golden shield can be applied to any Rohan hero, I think that it and help them, because the Rohan heroes like Theoden, Theodred, Eomer, they all have pretty good stat line, and they can help. But I think the golden shield was specifically designed to help Eowyn in those battle and siege scenarios where you have to use your attack and defense to quest.
Like I say, with Eowyn, obviously there is only one other character with a 4 on their attack, willpower, or defense, and that's Baragon.
Right.
Which has 4 defense in either his spirit version or his tactics version.
Right.
And that's what makes these characters so powerful for such a low threat cost, because they have the one stat of purely 4. I mean, Baragon's 10 threat, Eowyn's 9. And you don't see much wasted stat line with these cards. Now, I was talking to someone the other day who said, well, I would have preferred Eowyn to have, say, 0 attack and 4 hit points with 1 defense point. And I went, well, yeah, you could do that, but you've got all these other effects that target either spirit cards or Rohan traits that allow her to add her other attributes together to make mighty god from that.
I think that by doing this show specifically with you, I've learned that not every card is going to be everything to everybody. You can find holes and flaws in every card. So she is designed to be a quester and to be somebody who gives hope to the masses. And so by messing around with her stat line, I think you lose that kind of that feel to her. Eowyn is powerful enough that you don't have to do the shenanigans almost. Like you don't have to do the elf friend, combined with the star brooch. The only thing that the star brooch does that I like is it allows the willpower not to be reduced. So that is a nice thing. The only way that something can happen is if you have to remove her from the quest, which there are some encounter cards that do that.
But then you've got Eowyn's horse, where if she's removed from the quest, she then gets added back to the quest by exhausting it. So there are advantages to running Eowyn.
You can almost make her rock solid quester under any circumstance, and then you can buff the crap out of her based on what else you have going on for the quest. And I always think that if you can get 1 or 2 characters that can quest really well, that that helps to mitigate other effects that are going to happen in the game. The game is based on development, like developing your characters throughout the, increasing the difficulty of each successive quest within the quest deck.
She is so versatile, you can use her in pretty much any deck. Even though our threat's 9, it's not as low as, say, a Spirit Glorfindel with 5.
Nothing as low as Spirit Glorfindel.
Well, yeah, that's what was said when we did Glorfindel's episode. But what I'm getting at is she's still very versatile with what she can bring. She is only you're only going to be using her for questing. She makes up for that because of the fact that she's the highest questing hero.
Right. And the fact that she's from the spirit sphere. If you're running other heroes from other spheres, I think that she is a solid addition to a deck to bring the spirit cards, Test of Will, all the cards that are standards in a deck. Unexpected Courage, Test of Will. I always run Favor of the Lady. Well, I don't always run it, but Favor of the Lady.
Yeah, like I say, she is probably one of the most versatile heroes that you can hire in pretty much any deck, and it's going to work reasonably well. I mean, since the release of the side quest, Thrandia has become an ungodly questing character. It seems as though people are comparing Thrandia from the Lore Sphere to Eowyn at some points. And it's like, well, they were both released at two different times. You can't really compare them. You look at the beginning of the game, would Thrandia have lasted as long as what Eowyn has throughout the 7 or 8 years the game has been going at this point?
And I think that that's a testament to how solid she is and has been.
So, David, if you had a ring Eowyn, what would you give her?
Okay, so I love Eowyn as a kind of an all-around good hero. She doesn't have to be put into a Rohan deck specifically, which makes that more versatile and makes that a better rating for me. And so I think that her attack and defense bring her rating down in my book because she's so one-dimensional, but that she matches up in the spirit sphere really makes me like her a lot. If this were at the very beginning of the game, I think that she was rarely powerful, and since I think that she's lost a little bit of that, but she's still has withstood the test of time. So I would give her 4 rings. How about you?
With me, I still use her a fair bit. I mean, I disagree with you on the fact that our defense and attack points are too low because of what she's actually bringing to the table with that 4 questing capacity. I actually agree that she's been set out right, and I'm giving her a 3 rings. She's not going to be winning any awards for best hero, but she is still one of the top contenders on our list.
But join us next time as we talk about the Citadel plate from the Tactics Sphere. Have a great day.